Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to build a table view with a custom table view cell. In the cell, we will create an image and two labels. But the focus of these videos is to show you how to build in all the frequent used features in table view, such as I click a cell, the cell will change the background color to yellow and then put a check mark there. When I try to click the other cell, the first one will be deselected and the second one will be highlighted. And then I'll also show you how to select multiple cells. In this exercise, you will understand the selection cycles. So when the which one has been highlighted and which one need to be deselected. Move on, I will click the edit buttons so that you will change to the edit mode. In the edit mode, you just need to drag and drop the cell you want to put into the new locations. With the delete buttons, you only need to pick the one you don't like and delete it. At last, we will have add buttons. In the text box, you just put the foot you want to insert and find the place you want to insert it. Then you will insert the new items in the table view. That's what I'm going to achieve in these videos. Let's dive in the program. Okay, let me run this app first. You will see here is only a blank view controller. So the first step I'm going to do is to add a table view on top of the UI view. Okay, so with this table view, I need to go to the prototype cell to tell the table I need a cell here. With the cell, you need to pick the table view cells, and in the identifier, you put an identifier. It is very important to tell the table how to reuse this cell. With that, the last step you need to do is control drag the table view to view controller and build a connection between the data source. We need the data source to tell the table how to present the data. That's all we need to do in the main storyboard. Now we need to go back to the view controller. In the view controller, you need to first of all you need to have a data first. So let foot equal, we create an array to hold the data we want. The first one is apple, banana, orange, pear, grape, and rambutan. That's all we want at the time being. And then we need to have a table view data source in the UI view controller. With that, the warning will show to me is that we need to conform to the protocol of the UITableView data source. So let the system fix that for us. So there are two key protocols we need to conform. First one is telling the table how many rows I need to show in the sections. So since we have the data array we want, so we just tell the table to count how many items in that float to prepare the table. And the next thing is we need a cell. Cell will be TableView.dequeue reusable cells. Cells is the one we set in the storyboard, and then the index path. With that, cell dot text label dot text will be equal to whatever I have in this float array according to the index path dot row. So the table view, the first row, the first index row will point to this float array apple. So it will show the first item is apple and so on. And then we just need to return the cell. We run these apps again. It should be able to create a table view for me and also include all these items in the table view cell. Okay, it looks very good. Next step, I want to create a custom table view cell instead of the normal one. How can we do that? So we need to go back to the main storyboard. In the main storyboard, first thing is we need to replace this default cell to a custom cell. So I just remove the default cells. From the default cells, I go back to the table view cell and drag and drop a table view cell here. So I change the size to 80. And then in this cell, it will be my custom cells. In this custom cells, I want to add an image. So drag drop image here. Change to the size to 80 times 80. Maybe too big anyway. Maybe 75 better. So I just put it somewhere here. And then I need to have two labels. The first label will be my title label. So I want to make this title label bigger, easy to read. And then I copy and paste this label to be my description label, so I can make it smaller, and color can be gray. With all this set up, I also need a script file to connect to this table view cell so that I can control it. So how can I do that? I go back to the xcode, select new file, and then I need a CocoaTouch class. The CocoaTouch class will be UITableViewCell, and I change the name is custom cell and create. After I create this file, in this file, I simply need some IP outlet to connect to the items shown in the storyboard. So the first one will be IP outlet for food image, UI image, unwrap it. The second IP outlet will be title label, UI label. And the third one will be description label. UI label. With all this, you save this file and back to the main storyboard. In the main storyboard, you select the table view cell, and then you set the customer cell for this table view cell. With that, when you click, let's say click the custom cell, you select the image and go to the reference. So you will see whatever I create in this custom cell reference, the IP outlet will show here. So let's see, for this food image, I click the plus sign and drag to the image, release it. You build a link here. And then the second thing I need to build is the title label, this one, and drag and drop here. And then description label will be this one. With all this linked together, I just need to double check if the identifier has something. So I still need the identifier to tell which cell I'm going to reuse. With all this, I can go back to the view controller to run the program. So go back here, because right now I use my custom cells. I cannot use this default cell, so I need to downcast it to custom cell. And then I don't have this default text label anymore. I have my custom labels. So the first thing is title label dot text equal to float index path dot row. So you will put all this data to my title label. And I also have another called description label dot text equal. I just make the life easier because they are all the same. So it is call this name just for demonstration purpose. I'm not going to create all the different descriptions. At last, I also have an image. So it's a fruit image, dot image. So what is the image name? Image will be UI image, and the name will be something shown in this array. So, but I also prepare all this image with the name matched, so that when I run these apps, you should be able to see all the data, related data, showing here. But you see how come all this row is not really match the size. If you go back to the main storyboard, you look at the cell and see the text. The row height still stay 80, but here is not 80 anymore. The reason is when you have your custom cells, you need to cell. You cannot really set the height in the storyboard. So how can I change the row height? So you need to recall the UITableView delegate. So let the delegate method to change for you. One of the delegate, the table view height for row, this one, you want to return 80. But before we can use that, we also need to tell the table view to view controller connect the delegate. With that, the height should be able to reflect there. See, it works now. So next step, I'm going to create some bar item button so that I can demonstrate how to select all these fields, add or delete. Before I create those control buttons, I want to show you what happens when you select the cells in the table view. Let's say I click the peer, so it has been highlighted in gray color. When I click orange, the peer, the highlight has been removed, and the orange will be highlighted. So what function at the back end telling you which one has been highlighted, which one has been selected, or which one has been deselected? You need all this information for you to program the actions. So in fact, in the table view delegate, it provides you 3 functions. One is called highlight the row. So I put a print highlight here. So later on when I run the apps, you will see the sequence. The sequence is quite important. The second function it provides to you is called deselect row. So let me print this one. It's called deselect. And then it also provides you the deselect row. It tells you, let me put here deselect. So it tells you which cell has been deselected. So if I run these apps again, if I click banana, first of all you will see the highlight function kick off, and then the second function will kick off automatically, so called deselect. So I know right now this banana has been highlighted, at the same time it has been selected. So if I click, watch here, if I click grape, so first thing happen is you highlight first and then deselect the previous one, which is banana, and then deselect the grape. So that will be the sequence happen at the back end whenever you click that. So with that, so you can pick either one to format actions. So let's say I don't like it highlight in the gray color. What you need to do is you go to the main storyboard. First of all, in the cell selection, the default is gray color. You change to none first. So when I run these apps, when I click the one I want to select, the function has been called but it didn't highlight any color because I didn't tell the system what I want to highlight. So after the highlight, I want to set the color when I select the cell. So let's say let selected row equal table view dot cell for row at index path. So it tells me which one has been selected is this function here. Okay, and in this select row, I set the background color to yellow. So when I run these apps again, I click orange. This one I still highlight, but there's no color. But when it turns to this did select cell, these functions, I change the color to yellow. And I also can put this this row to add some accessory. I can use a check mark. So I run these apps again. Click banana, it highlight in the yellow color and also put a check mark for me here. But if I change to the other cell, this one is also highlight with the check mark, but you didn't know how to remove all these highlights and check mark which I created in the select cell. So I need to use this one called the select row. So how to do that? Let the selected row equal table view dot cell for row at index path. So first of all I need to use this row to remove the background color to dot white, and then also I want to remove that accessory to none. When I run this app again, so when I click orange, it set the highlight to yellow and also put a check mark. When I click the ramp button, you see the highlight select and then change to the yellow color with the check mark. But in the deselect mode here, it helps me to remove the previous select one in white color and remove the accessory also. That's how it works at the back end. So this free function is very, very important when you build your table view. Okay, now I'm going to create this title bar with the buttons to show you the other features and functions. So I need a title bar to hold all these buttons to show the demonstration. So I need to back to the main storyboard here, and I click Editor, Embed Navigation Controller. So with that, it helps me to create a controller bar on top. So I need to put some bar button. So the first one I put here, this one will be edit button. So here I select edit. The second button I want to create is add button. So it's add buttons. And then the third one I want to create is custom. Also, I want to change the name is multi. And then the last buttons I want to create is a delete button. Put at the left hand side. So this one will be delete. Okay, so with all these buttons, let me run the apps. Okay, all these buttons show here. So next step, I need to connect all these buttons with actions. When you try to move all these cells up or down, or insert a new cells or delete a cells, it must be under edit mode. So the first thing I need to create a table view outlet to tell the table is under edit mode or not, and then I need to put an action here in the edit buttons to change the true or false of the edit mode. So make some room here, and then I need to create under the UI view controller. I click and drag the table view here, create table view outlet, and then I need to select the buttons, the edit button, and create a function for the edit buttons. Change edit mode. It is a bar buttons, connect. With all this set, I can go back. I can go back to the view controller here. In the view controller, let's see table view dot is editing equal table view dot is editing. This line is only telling the buttons to change the true or false of this edit mode. When I run this app, so when I click the edit buttons, it will show all these delete buttons. That's not what I want. Let's say what happens if I click one of them. I click delete, nothing happened. First of all, I didn't install any delete function here, so you won't show anything. And also the default of edit mode is delete cells, but that's not what I want. So what I need to do is there's a dedicated method called editing style for rows. If I return .none and run these apps again, I click edit. It's still under edit mode, but you remove all these delete buttons. So how can I move all this cell? So I need to use another dedicated method called move at row at source index path and destination index path. So here, if I do nothing, and run the apps again, this time I click the edit mode, it will show the 3 horizontal lines at the right hand side. When I click either one and move it, you will see the cell has been moved and changed accordingly. However, if you look at the array here, the sequence doesn't change at all, even though I change whatever shown in the table view. In the table view, actually, it's your job to update the data at the back end, so they don't care how you move around these cells. So what can you do here? It's kind of simple. Go back to this move row here. Let move object equal. First of all, I need to copy the move object. So the move object with the fruit source index.row. So I copy the object that I'm going to move, and then I need to remove this source object, so it disappears in the array. But I also need to insert this row back. So this is the move object, and the new location will be destination.indexPath.row. So if I add these few lines, when I run the apps again, click edit mode, you can see it's ready for me to move. Let's say I move the grape to the top and release it. So you will see in the array, it also update for me grape, apple, banana, orange, pear. If I move the apple under the pear, you will see the apple under the pear now. So that's what you need to bear in mind. Whatever you do here, delete, insert, or move around, the table view doesn't care if you really update your data or your array, so you need to do it by yourself. Okay, next things I want to show you is how to delete a record or add a record. How can we delete a cell So first step is I need to create a function to handle the delete. So I go back to main storyboard. From there, I just drag this delete button to the view controller. Here is delete a cell. It's a bar button. Connect. With that, I can go back to view controller, start to work on these functions. So where it is now? Okay, here it is. So before that, because I need to let the table view know it is under delete mode, so I need to create a var delete is on equal false. With that, here the first thing I need to do is when I click this delete cell, I need to change to the delete is on become true. And then I need to change the table view is editing equal true. With this set to be true, I need to go to editing style at row here. So if delete is on equal true, so this time I need to return delete instead of none. So let me run these apps again. This time I click delete buttons. All these delete buttons will be shown at the right hand side, left hand side. So when I click these buttons, I click delete. Still nothing happens because I need to have remove these cells functions. So what I need to do is go back here. There, under the editing mode, there is another other editing mode. It's called editing style. This one. So in here, first of all, I need to check if editing style equal dot delete. So when I know it is under delete mode, I should be able to remove the cell. So first step is I need to remove the cell dot remove at index path dot row. After remove the data from the array, and then I can remove the cell in the table. So table view dot delete row at index path, and then animate with fade. So here I also need to see if I really update the array. So I run these steps again. You will see when I click the delete buttons. So the delete button show here if I remove the grape, and then the delete button show at the right hand side. I click delete. So you can see the things change, and then the grape removed in the array also. So that's how you do the delete. But one thing you need to be very careful if you look at here, the code here. If you change the sequence, like you put the table view before removing the array, the program will crash. Let me run the steps to show you. Click here, remove orange, it crash. The reason is because every time the table deletes something, it will refresh the array, the actual data at the back end. So it's kind of like reload the data. When they're doing that, you haven't removed the items in your array, then you will become a count problems. You cannot count how many items actually show here. In the table, you only have 5 left, but in your array still have 6, so you crash the systems. So the sequence of doing removing, you need to be very careful. Okay, that's how we do for the delete things. So the last thing I want to show you is how to insert a row in the table view. Insert a new cells, I need to do a couple of things. First, I need to have a text fields to hold the new items that I want to insert into this table view. And then click the insert buttons, it will put into this table view. So what I'm going to do is back to the main storyboard. I need a UI view. This one will be insert. This one I'm going to insert in the table view. So the UI view, and I will insert here. So with this UI view, I can add the text field that I want. This text field is going to hold the new fruit name so that I can add into this table view. With that setup, I can do the connections. So the text here, the text field, I drag and drop here. So it is an outlet. So we call text new item, connect. And then I also need to add a function here. The function will be add a cell, bar buttons, connect. So with all this set up, I can go back to the view controller, start to do the programming. The things will be exactly like what we do for the add delete item. So add is on equal false. It's just not a best practice, but I just want to show you how to do all these functions, and later on you can modify to use in your apps. So when I click this add a cell buttons, add is equal true. At the same time, the table view dot is editing also equal true. With that, I need to go back to the editing style for row, change it to, if it is equal true, I will change it to return dot insert. So you will show the app buttons at the left hand side of the table view. With that, if let's see, I run these apps again. When I click the app buttons, the button show here, but no function at all. So I need to do the final step to add the functions. So I need to go back to the commit editing, because right now I start to commit the editing. If editing style dot insert, which is true. So the first thing I need to do is, as same as like delete, you need to update the array data first before you really insert something, because you will reload the data, reload the table view, and then find the number of items in the table view is not same as the array, then you will crash the program. So here I will insert the text new item dot text, unwrap it, and the place I want to put is the index row, and then I can start to begin the updating. This time the table view actually really looks up your arrays and then find the place to insert the new items. And then the table view dot will end the updates. So let's print the fruit again. However, I also need to do something is I need to, because the table view will show the keyboard. In the keyboard, I need to reassign the first responders, otherwise the keyboard will always stick there. Okay, let's run these apps again and see anything change. So the new item will be during, and after I put a during, I add, and I want to add before the peer, so the during is shown here. That's how it works. If you want to have another banana, so I'm going to add here the banana will show. See, the array also show all these things. So that's what you do for the add functions. Now at last, this very short one to show you how to add a multi selections. So I need to go back to the main storyboard, which is only one line of code. Then you finish. So same thing. I just control drag this function, and I said it's multi selection function connect. So with that, I can go back to the view controller. Where's the new function here? Yeah. So what you need to do is you just put a table view dot allow selection, allow multi selection, table view dot allow multi selection. So that does just turn on the multi selection or not. And last, let me run these programs again. So here is still single selection. When I click these buttons, right now I can select more than one. Okay, that's how you turn on the multi-selections. That's all the demonstration in these videos. I guess it's not the best practice, but those are the functions you always use when you create simple table view. You want to insert your row, delete the row, and edit the row, or move around all these cells. That's how you can achieve that. Okay, next videos if you like this video, please give a like and also subscribe to these channels. In the next video, I'm going to do is to show you what was the concept behind the MVC, the model, view, and controllers. With that, you can start to build your data into your apps. Bye.